Hello, my name is Joanne Cornell and I'm from A Rose's Creations, and I am going to be doing this video because I took a psilocybin mushroom trip, magic mushroom trip, and I want to explain it. I will be explaining the whole thing on my YouTube channel. So if you are interested in going on a trip, I am going to be doing some trip sitting because I want you to be able to experience this without being fearful. I did it, and I did a solo trip, but I think I was physically, mentally, and spiritually ready. Thanks to Karen, my Reiki master, who I had a Reiki session with her about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and then I went and took a class with her, and then I ended up going and being a practitioner. So I went and took my Reiki 2 certification probably about on the 16th of August. So almost a month ago. Yeah. So I have been practicing Reiki. I have a couple of clients that I did. I also did some animals. I've been doing some distance with people that have been in the hospital that I know because I want to practice it. I've also been practicing on myself. And so I'm in a better position right now in order to be able to do this. And I keep wanting to do it, and I keep wanting to get somebody to trip sit with me. It didn't even have to be anybody that was experienced. I just wanted somebody that would be there just in case I had a medical issue or if I had a bad trip, just so they could kind of talk me out of it. Okay, so I'm going to explain a little bit about what a trip sitter does. I keep saying sitter does. A trip sitter just watches you. Pretty much is a babysitter. I hate to say it that way, but that's what it is. I am going to babysit you while you take the psilocybin and go through the experience in order for you to, if you have a medical condition that's, first of all, if you have a medical condition that contradicts it, you're not going to be able to do this. But I'm going to, and then, let me see how I explain this. Okay, I will be taking a medical history on you. That's number one. So any contradictions to whether or not you're taking a drug that you can't take with the psilocybin, if you have a medical condition like cardiovascular or psychosis, any kind of mental issues. And then also I want to know if you've actually done cannabis and psilocybin. I also want to know if you've done any other kind of drugs, whether legal, illegal. I also want to know your medical history. I want to know medications that you're taking now. I need to know all of that. It'll be protected by the HIPAA law, because even though doing a psilocybin trip is illegal, just me personally, if you tell me something personal about your life, I'm not going to tell everybody else. It's just me. Even though, you know, I won't do it. It's not my place to tell you. If you want to tell somebody about your private medical history, you tell them about your private medical history. I'm not doing it. So even if I hadn't been in the medical field as an EMT, a caretaker, private caretaker, I also took certified nurses assistant, CNA classes. Just before I got sick, I took a phlebotomy, I took a EKG. So I took an anatomy class just for fun. So that's my medical history. You know what I mean? Like, plus me having to holistically go to this holistic healing stuff and finding my own medications. I'll explain a little bit more about that at the end, but right now I'm just explaining about a trip sit session. So I will, if somebody wants to have a bunch of people over their house or something and have a seminar type thing, I'll come over and speak to you about it. That won't cost anything. I'll just go and I'll talk to you about the trips and what's going on and the prerequisites and stuff like that in order to thing. I'll give you forms so that you can fill out the forms, and then we can privately talk either there, or I can call you on the phone when I review them later on. I'll read whatever you gave me, and then that way we can discuss it before you actually go and take the trip. So there will be a medical history one. There will also be a form on what you want. I want to know what you want out of this. Like me, I wanted to get rid of my mother issues. For once and for all, I wanted to get rid of her. I didn't, and I hate to say it that way, but me and her had I loved her, but I hated what she did. And she didn't think she ever did anything wrong. You know what I mean? Like, whatever she did was all right. You know what I mean? Because it was all right. It was all right for her, but it wasn't all right for her children. It wasn't all right for me, you know? And I was the oldest, so I was the one who remembered everything that happened. So I was a constant reminder of what she did wrong in her life. Whether she wanted to face it or not, that was me. So I really believe that she hated me because I was much stronger than her. I didn't do the alcohol. I didn't do the drugs. I didn't, she resented the things that she couldn't do, I could do, which was stay away from alcohol, stay away from drugs, lead a healthy life. So I needed to get rid of that. I also needed to get rid of the hate I had for my brother. One of my brothers molested my son. I needed to get rid of that hate. I needed to get rid of hate for myself, because at a time when I got a divorce, I was homeless. I had a bunch of different issues where I just couldn't take care of my children. So I left my two oldest children with my ex, because he's the one that had the house. He's the one that had the cars. He's the one that had a steady income. I left with a gym bag of clothes. That was it. I didn't even leave with that. I ended up going back and getting a gym bag of clothes because I left with whatever I had on that day. I left and I went to a induction to the JCs. I was going to be Secretary of State for Rhode Island. And he didn't show up. I ended up abandoning that post. And I never went home after that, other than to go visit and get clothes and my things, some of my things I didn't get. I don't, but I left my kids there because I don't have family, of course, so I don't have a mother to help me. I didn't have anybody to help me. So I needed to be able to get rid of the hate for me, because I left my kids. And for a long time, I hated myself for that. And I have to deal with that. So even though it was better for the kids, it was heartbreaking for me, you know? So I told myself as a bad mother, even though I knew what I was doing was right for the kids, or at least I thought it was right for the kids. It hurt me. It hurt me big time. Then, so I had the kids on the weekends, and, did what I could. I had to work a lot on the weekends, so I didn't see them sometimes on the weekends because I had to work. I needed to be able to pay the bills. And bartending was one of the things, and in order to get, the difference between getting $40 a night, and $100 a night is working on a weekend, So I worked a full-time job and a part-time job. Sometimes I had 3 jobs. I had 2 part-time jobs and a full-time job. Sometimes I was doing 1 full-time job, 1 part-time job, and I was going to school even. So yeah, my life was really busy. And it wasn't because I was being selfish, it's because I wanted to make my life better in order to be able to have a apartment, have a house, be able to provide for my children, to be able to get them back, because they weren't taken away from me. I had to leave them. You know what I mean? I just didn't have a choice. I also wanted to get rid of the hate that I had for my ex, you know, for putting me in this predicament, because of the fact that he didn't appreciate what he had when he had it. I hate to say that, but he didn't. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. He didn't appreciate me. He didn't, he kind of just thought of me as kind of like an employee type person. I don't know. That's the only way I can explain it. I felt unloved and I felt unwanted. So, you know, and unappreciated. Anytime I wanted to accomplish anything, he was putting up roadblocks for me. And I just don't understand that, because I wanted to make our lives better. When I wanted to make our lives better, I wanted to go to school. I wanted to learn. I wanted to be, you know, I wanted to have a career. He wouldn't let me. All right, enough about him. I also wanted to get the hatred away from this. Oh, there's a little bunny rabbit. I wanted to get the hatred away from being able to, my health that has been going on for about 12, 13, 14 years, 14 years now. 14 years I've been going through this health issues. Yeah, my health issues. So just in case you don't know what they are, is fibromyalgia. I have fibromyalgia, so when I have pain in one spot, I have pain everywhere. So if you stub your toe, and it only hurts on your toe. When you bang your elbow, it only hurts on your elbow. When you have a headache, it only hurts on the headache. Not me. When I have any of those, I can feel the pain throughout my whole body. It magnifies it and it brings it everywhere. My brain sends signals to my body that tells me that I'm in pain, even though I'm not in pain. That's why people say fibromyalgia is all in your head. Well, it really kind of is all in your head, because your brain is sending signals saying, pain, 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 pain. You touch the stove, you touch the burner, and it's hot. The sensories, the nerves in here goes and sends a message to your brain. Your brain goes, ooh, pain, pain, pain. Get your finger away from the damn heat. So my body says, normally your body says there's only pain here. Mine says there's pain everywhere. So I feel that burning sensation throughout my whole body. They're still not quite sure what causes it. They don't know. It seems to me that it might be a little bit hereditary, because of the fact that I know people in my family that kind of have it. It's a lot, you know, yeah. So then, on top of that, that was like 14, 15 years ago. I got diagnosed when I was 46 is when I finally got diagnosed. So yes, you know, you have fibromyalgia, this is what you have. Because it took them like 4 years to figure it out. And then I ended up 2 years ago, I had extreme pain in my face. So I thought it was my back tooth having, you know, tooth pain, and so I went to the dentist. They did x-rays, and there's nothing wrong with that tooth, you know what I mean? Like, she says, look, she says, it's all healthy. She says, this is a healthy, you know, and then she showed me an x-ray of, this is unhealthy root, you know? So I said, okay. So, and she did it all different views. I went back 4 times because I kept saying, I have this toothache pain and it's killing me, you know what I mean? And it's all in my head, more, you know, it's so bad that I can't move, can't breathe, can't do anything. So she says, she goes, fourth time, she goes, oh, she says, I've been trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with you, she says, and I think I know. And I went, okay, let me in on it. And she goes, I think you have trigeminal neuralgia. She says, it's really kind of rare. She says, but I think that's what you have. She says, but because it's been bothering me. She says, because a month and a half now you've been calling me, and we've been going in, and I've been trying to figure out what the hell's wrong. She gave me 2 Novocaine blocks even because, you know, it hurt so bad. She was like, look, she said, I'm just going to give you a Novocaine block just so it'll settle it down for a little bit. And it would work for a little while, probably about 4 days, 5 days, I'd have no pain, and then all of a sudden back comes the pain. So of course she told me I can't do that all the time, but you know, she was doing it to try to figure out what the hell's wrong there. So because she was digging in there too, and you know, trying to figure out if there was something down there hidden that she couldn't see. So trigeminal neuralgia is what I got diagnosed for. So I was taking medical cannabis for the fibromyalgia. At first I was taking 18 different medications. They wanted to give me 3 more medications. So they wanted to do that. I said, no, I'm done. And my doctor goes, what do you mean you're done? I said, I'm done. I said, I'm just done. And I says, I take a medication, I get a side effect, and then you're giving me another medication for the side effect, and then I'm having another side effect, and then a medication, and you're giving me another side effect, and it's just making everything worse. I'm like, I'd rather just deal with the original problem in the first place, and that's it. So I say, you know what? I have a little background on herbs and spices and stuff like that, so I'm going to investigate. So I investigated, and I got all sorts of herbs and spices, and I started doing medical marijuana, and it helped me. And then I got the trigeminal, so then the trigeminal now wasn't helping me anymore because now I get this additional pain. So I took I went to Facebook, and I was like, hey, I'm like, anybody know anything that I'm gonna take care of, you know, trigeminal neuralgia pain? And I explained what it was and everything else. And one of my friends who I had learned, because I was investigating regular mushrooms, one of my friends, I will mention his first name but not his last, just because, you know, he goes, Brian goes, and he says, hey, he says, why don't you try psilocybin mushrooms? I go, what? And he goes, yeah, he says, try magic mushrooms. He says, I really think that might help. Now, I was already on regular mushrooms. I was on kratom. I was on herbs and spices, a whole concoction that I had. I had a mushroom concoction, I had herb and spices concoction, I had medical marijuana, and then kratom, and now I'm gonna add something new. So I'm like, you know what? I don't care. If this pain hurts so bad, I need to try something else. So I tried something else. Sorry about the lighting, but now I'm in the shade. So I'm gonna work with it. I'm still seeable, so I'm gonna do this. So I investigated, because I don't do anything without figuring out what the hell is, let me see. So figuring out what the hell it's all about. So I investigated. I went online and YouTube channels and freaking anything, and investigated on all of it and figured out what the hell my procedures was gonna be. And then I ended up having to find somebody to get it from. Well, that was a chore and a half. That took me about 3 months of trying to find somebody who will do it. And it's actually somebody that I know that knows somebody else that grows even. It's not even a direct line, it's a indirect line, which, because it's illegal federally and state and everything else, they only growers only share their names with people that they really know. And of course, I understand this guy doesn't know me. He has no idea what I'm doing. He knows no idea if I would ever say anything to anybody else, where I would get it or anything else. And that is not the case. I would spend the rest of my life in jail in order to protect the people that are helping me medically. That would be what I'd have to do, because actually my life would be very short, because I'd commit suicide, because I wouldn't be able to get the medicines that I need, and if I didn't get the medicines I need, it would be done. So the secret would die with me for sure. Oh my gosh, the bunnies are coming to see me. Oh my god, this is so cute. Look at this, I gotta show you. Sorry, I'm gonna stop this video a little bit just to show you the bunnies. Oh, look at them. I hope you can see them. There was like 3 of them just now. They chopped my backyard trees. Oh, look at this, he's coming right to me. Oh Lord, look at him. He just doesn't care. Ah, how cute. There's the yellow one over there. They're babies, they don't know any better. He's just looking at me, he's like, what the hell is she doing in her yard? Hi, I wish I had some food for you. Huh? I'd give you something. Look at this. Oh, how cute. I'm sorry, but this is definitely worth. Oh, how cute. Okay. I hope you can see that. Oh, I just scared him. Okay. All right. So now I'm back to me. Need to get back to the video. Okay. So, I investigated, and then finally I got somebody to give me, sell me mushrooms. So I ended up getting it, and that's how I get it now. I get it through somebody else, which is fine. I don't care how I get it, as long as I get the damn thing in order to be able to heal. So ever since the first time that I took microdosing, which is only 0.3 grams when I first started taking it, I started taking it 2 years ago, and then I went from 0.3 to 0.6, and now I'm at 0.6 to 1.2, because I have 3.3 capsules, so I know how much I'm taking. I want to know how much I'm taking. So that's what I do. But I do it during the day, like I do 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and then one or 2 at night. So that's how I kind of work it. It's not all at once type deal. So when I went to go on this trip, I investigated a lot more, because like I said, I kept trying to get a trip sitter and a trip sitter, and for some reason nobody seems to want to do it, and it's like, I don't understand it. Like, you have to do it. But I guess the commitment to spending that amount of time with somebody is a lot. I ended up laying on a couch. I was taking my regular medicine dosage, and I was like, you know what, I think it's time. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I can't sleep, and I'm like, you know what, frig it, I'm doing it. So excuse me, so I get the hiccups. I ended up taking a 2 gram, I believe it was 1, 2, 3, 2, 9, and 9 is 1.8, 2.1 grams of it at once. So what is it? 7 pills at once. 7 pills at once. So 7 times 0.3. Then I ended up waiting about an hour. And of course the pills are going to take a little longer than the tea. So probably a half an hour for the tea, and then my pills. Because like I said, I wanted to make sure I knew how much I was taking, and I didn't want to go up and measure it. I'm sleeping in the basement right now because it's cooler. So I ended up taking the 2.1, and then an hour later I kind of was feeling a little fuzzy, but I didn't feel high. I didn't feel like I closed my eyes and I wasn't seeing anything, and I know my experience is supposed to be able to see psychedelic colors and everything else. I had music going on, so I had psychedelic music that I got from YouTube, which was awesome. So thank you for putting that stuff on there. They actually have some cool pictures in there and everything else too. It's wicked neat. And so I ended up having that on the background. It was a 6-hour video, so I could time myself because of the video, even because I knew what time it was. Because time to you while you're on a hard trip is weird. You think you're sitting there for 5 minutes and you're sitting there for an hour. You think you're sitting there for, it's been an hour or two, and then all of a sudden it's not been an hour or two, it's only been 10 minutes. You lose time perception. You know, normally you think you know that my video's on 26 minutes. Yup, I know it's been a while since I've been talking to you guys, but that you don't. So I know I'm all over the place. I was trying to do a short video, but it doesn't seem to be short. Every time I do a video, it doesn't seem to be short. I don't know why, because I have so much to talk about, I guess. I'm a talker. But I so much to share with you. It's just crazy. The actual trip, when I explain the actual trip to you later on on the YouTube channel, if you go there, then you'll see that. If you want to talk to me privately about it, you can call my phone number at 401-471-1329. And if I am able to, I will talk to you. I have to be able to, or you can message me there and give me a time or something where I can call you back if I can't answer. There's a bunny right on the side of me over here. And I will call you when I privately can talk to you, because sometimes I won't be able to talk to you and it be confidential. If I'm somewhere where I'm with people, I don't want to ask certain questions of you in front of people. You know what I mean? Like, it's none of anybody's business who I'm asking what to, and yeah, so that goes there. So when you're done this journey, I'm going to try to close this out a little bit because I want to be able to, when you're done this journey, it'll take an average of about 8 to 10 hours in order for you to finish this trip. From start, when I give you the dosage, or when you take the dosage, I should say, because I'm not going to give it to you. You're going to take it. Because it is illegal. I am not a doctor. I don't say I am a doctor. I don't say I'm a holistic healer. And I can officially, confidently say that now. I am a holistic healer. I try to do everything all natural, and I am trying to make everybody better. I would never, ever try to put your life in any kind of harm. That's why I'm so damn nosy about your medical history. That's why I'm nosy about your medications. That's why I'm nosy about everything. I want to know everything, because it's going to be me and you in this journey. And you're going to be on the journey, but I am going to be helping you so that way you're safe and you're not going to get hurt. Physically, mentally, all that stuff. And I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that too, but as you can tell because of everything I told you already, I've gone through a lot of trauma in my life. My first time I was homeless, it was when my mother came home and she was drunk, and she accused me of screwing her boyfriend, and she started beating me up. So I was in a pair of underwear and a t-shirt, and I walked out the house with my shoes in my hand after I threw her off me, because I was in bed laying there and she started hitting me, And of course she was drunk, so she's bigger than me, but she was drunk, so she didn't have all her, you know, strength and everything else. And I just freaking flung her on the floor, told her to fucking stay there until I got up and left. And I grabbed what I left because I didn't think she was gonna stay there, because she was getting up to come after me again, and I was done. I didn't want to beat her up. I just wanted to get her off me. And I left. And that was the last time I ever lived at my mother's house, and it was a month before my 14th birthday. So it was in July, and it was like the 3rd or 4th week in July, because I turned 14 in August 30th. So even just that being a drama, you know what I mean? Like, my mother used to go and go on what my grandmother used to call vacations, which was fucking just getting drunk. Excuse my language, but it was just going out and getting drunk. So she'd go out, get drunk, she'd stay at a friend's house, or she'd stay wherever, and then she wouldn't even come home for a week at a time sometimes, and I took care of her children. One of my brothers used to call me Mom because he was 13 years younger than me. Oh, wait a minute, no, he was 10 years younger than me. He was 2.5, 3 years old when I left. So he was like 10 years younger than me, and he used to call me Mom, and she got mad because he called me Mom, and I was like, well, you know, you're not home, so why the hell should he call you Mom? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not telling him to call me Mom. It's like when I take him to the park, he sees son and mom, or daughter and mom, and then he goes and he looks at me and he goes, okay, she's here, Mom. You know, so he started calling me Mom because everybody else is calling their people Mom. You know, I would take him to the park. I would take him out for walks and do things. That's the only way I could do things is, you know, there. I wasn't going to school because I was taking care of my brothers. Yeah, lots of crap in my life, and that's not even all of it. Believe me, there was a lot more. My son got molested by my brother. My son got molested by my brother, and I got accused of lying. We went through the medical stuff, we went through all of that stuff, and then I ended up having a mental breakdown. I really had a mental breakdown, and that's the only thing I could think of. I stayed away from my kids for a while, and then when I tried to get in contact with them again, they wanted nothing to do with me. And I understand that, because I zeroed out. And it seems like I abandoned them, and possibly I did. I mean, I did, but it wasn't abandoning them to abandon them because I didn't want to see them anymore. It's because I needed to take care of me. I wasn't able to physically and mentally see them. I felt like I failed them again. You know what I mean? Like all of them. And then, like I said, I'm gonna work and stuff. My daughter and son didn't want to see me anymore because they're like, well, you're here sometimes, you're not here sometimes. Well, you know, as being an adult now, you understand maybe a little bit more that that's what happens in life. You know what I mean? Things happen. You have people in your life. You don't have people in your life. You have people in your life. When I was mentally able to deal with what happened, or tried to deal with what happened. I didn't see a psychiatrist or anything, but I tried to deal with what happened, and then I tried to see my kids again, and they didn't want nothing to do with me. I can't help that. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not going to force anybody to be with me, see me, talk to me, or anything else. It's just not going to happen. Sorry, I keep getting into the me stuff, but I kind of wanted you to know what I went through in order to be able to go through this journey, so that way you can be open with me, because you'll know that I'm not just somebody who hasn't gone through all this bullshit and is just talking out my ass. You know, I want you to know that I've friggin' been there. I've done that. And when I say that, you know I really mean it. I'm not just, like I said, talking out my ass. When you're done this trip, after you're going to tell me what you want to focus on, which is your traumas and stuff like that, which is what I'm openly speaking about, which I don't openly speak to everybody and tell a lot of things to everybody. Usually I'll tell one thing to one person and then one thing to another, but nobody knows the whole story. They only know some of the story. And even now, you don't know the whole story. You only know some of it. I got molested by my stepfather. I got molested by a cousin of mine. I got molested by a person who babysat me because I was still too young to take care of my brothers at the time, my brother at the time. So she gave us to a babysitter who was a drunk. And she gave us to a babysitter who was drunk, who abused me and was physically and mentally tormenting me because I was changing my brother's diaper at the time, which, you know, she thought it was sexual. And I was like, are you kidding me? It's not sexual. There's nothing sexual about wiping, you know, a little baby's penis. And if you're thinking that that's sexual, you got something wrong with you. Not me. You got something wrong with you. So finally I told my mother, that was the day I told my mother that I'm not going, you're not having me go to a babysitter anymore, because I was going to call DCYF. That was going to be the end of that deal. I was done with that bullshit. And that's when she started leaving me alone with the kids. So it was definitely better than getting abused by other people, because I knew I was taking care of the kids right. So, yeah. Babysitter ended up taking his pants down and having me do sexual things to him. Yeah. He never got to babysit again either, because I told my mother that there was no way in hell I was going to ever, you know, have that happen again. I didn't tell her what happened, but I told her I didn't like him, and that was it, you know, that he hit us, and that got taken care of. So after you take your trip, my battery's getting dead, so it's time for me to close this down. After you take the trip, you are going to need some time to decompress. That's why I took a whole day of not doing any videos or anything else, because I wanted to sit and think about the experience and think about what happened in my life and think about what I got closure on. I got closure on my mother. I got closure on my brother. I actually saw my brother yesterday on the street, the one that molested my kid, and that caused me a lot of pain and agony. And I felt nothing. And I mean nothing. I didn't feel hate towards him. Normally I want to just take my car and I want to run his ass over. You know what I mean? And that's it. I just want to run him over. But I didn't feel anything. I just looked at him, I knew it was him, and I just kept driving by. So I got closure with that. I got closure with the molestations and stuff like that. I even still see my cousin every once in a while, and I get aggravated because he wants to be friends. And it's like, no, I don't want to be friends. You know, when I see you all hi, bye, that's freaking it. That's as much as I want to deal with you because of what you did to me. You know, you apologize, but that still doesn't absolve you from what you did. And then I finally feel that I'm to the point where if my kids want to be part of my life, they'll be part of my life, and they will understand that I am still sick. And they will understand that sometimes I just can't be there. And if I don't feel good, you shouldn't be not wanting to see me anymore just because I don't feel good. If I made a plan with you on a Saturday and then all of a sudden I can't do it, That's why I try not to make plans with anybody's, because there's certain things I have to do at certain days, and I do them whether or not I feel good or not. So if I'm not feeling good, like tonight I got to do a pool tournament. If I'm not feeling good, I still do it. And then what it does is it makes it worse for me. So then I feel worse for 2 more days because I didn't chill like I should have chilled. So I need to be able to have that time to be able to heal when I do get feeling sick or hurt. And sometimes I just can't, you know what I mean? Like I have to do a tournament at the card shop, so I do tournaments at the card shops. So when I do that, whether I feel good or not, most of the time I do it because I have a commitment, and there's other people. It's not just me, but it's other people. Not just one person either, or 2 people, but it is, at the tournaments, it's anywhere between 12 to like 30 people that are looking forward to this tournament, you know, and they pay to be there. When it comes to the Magic the Gathering tournaments at the store, there's anywhere between 8 people, sometimes a little less, but normally 8 people to like 12 people or 20 people, sometimes 20, you know, I mean, I've had 20 be there. People that are looking forward to playing a game, and they come to my store to play the game, you know what I mean? Like, so, and then that also helps me financially too, because they buy stuff at the store, and when they buy stuff at the store, I get a little bit of money, you know what I mean? Like, it depends on who buys on what people buy, that I make a little bit of cash here and there, you know, personal cash, so I can have money to spend, because I don't get paid to do the actual tournament. Same thing with the pool tournament. I don't get paid to do the tournament. I get paid by, well, I do get paid, but I get paid per person. So I get more people there, and I get less people there if I freaking canceled last week. If I cancel last week, then this week I'm gonna get less people. So I can't do that, you know. So that's why I need to be there, because that counts for my income, and I need to have some kind of income in order to be able to pay for my medicine, because medical doesn't pay for my medicine. Okay, now at the end of the trip, you're gonna have time to decompress. So you decompress, and then you'll probably want to talk to somebody. I'll be there after that to talk to you. So I haven't decided on how many times I will talk to you after the session without charging you, but I definitely want to have at least one time, possibly 2 times, where I'm talking to you, and so if you have some concerns or have some kind of thing, even though I'm a psychiatrist, I can listen, you know, and then maybe give my thoughts if you want them. If you don't want my thoughts and you just want somebody to listen to you, I'll listen, you know. If you want me to put my 2 cents in on what I think about it, because I know your history, because you talked to me about it, you talked to me about what went on in your life, then possibly, you know, traumas, I can, yeah, you know, I can help you with that, I hope. If not, maybe I'll tell you to seek a psychiatrist or some kind of therapy, you know, other therapy too. Maybe you need to go on another trip later on in order to be able to clarify, to clear everything else up, you know. So that could definitely be a thing too. I'm not sure about the cost. I know what the cost is of the dosage of mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms that you're going to be needing. So that's going to be taken in effect, but I also need to do time. So time is going to be the seminar, which I'm not going to charge for, but if you do take that trip, I need to kind of consider that as far as a thing. And then also the follow-up and the pre-interview, the follow-up interview, and then the time that I spend with you, which will be 8 to 10 hours, maybe even a little bit longer. If it's longer, it's longer. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, 8 hours, time's up, gotta go, and then just leave you stranded. That's not going to happen. So what I'm figuring out and is going to be 14 hours of sitting there with you, being there. Most of the times we'll probably do this on a weekend night, or a day that you have off. Maybe you can take the next day. You have to take the next day off in order to be able to do this. I would suggest that it be a day off, so then you can sleep at night or at night and then take a day off, so that way you can have the time to reflect, recover. If you're gonna do this, you're gonna need to take beverages with you, or I will provide water. I'm going to probably just get a bunch of waters and bring it in a cooler type thing wherever we're going, in order to make sure that you have something to drink, because you need to stay hydrated. I don't believe you're gonna need food unless it's during the daytime. If it's during the daytime, I will have you bring food, so that way you know what meal you want to have. It'll be something light, like a sandwich or something. It shouldn't be anything spicy. It shouldn't be anything that's gonna affect the trip at all. Maybe some soup. I don't know, something chill, you know. And then I will talk to you about it, and I will discuss it. And like I said, everything is going to be confidential. I will not speak to anybody about any of this. Like I said, if I do talk to somebody about it, it'll be vague. It'll be one of my patients or one of my clients. It'll be one of my clients, you know. And I have a bunch of them already. So one of my clients, you know, when she was a kid, she got tied to a tree for punishment. One of my clients was put in the basement. It's actually not a bad client, but it's a friend of mine who was put in a basement. I don't even think it was for punishment. I think it was just because they didn't want to deal with the kids, so they stuck him in the basement with rats, and they spent a long time there. This is actually public knowledge because he wrote a book about it, and it's called There Will Be Monsters. His name is David Finch, and he's a friend of mine from a long time ago. And he finally came up with a book on his abuse that he took as a child. And I haven't read the book yet, but it's horrifying as far as I know. The stuff that he went through is just craziness. Like, I know the stuff that I went through, but I don't think it was as bad as that. You know, so you go through shit in your life, and then you realize there's people in your life that have way more shit that they went through, you know? So it could be worse all the time. No matter what you're going through, it could be worse. And I do believe that things happen for a reason. And during this trip, too, it confirmed it. The reason that I went through all that stuff during my childhood life is because of things that I'm going through now I can handle. I wouldn't be able to handle any of that stuff if I was just, you know, a princess in a princess lifetime. You know what I mean? If I had a mom and a dad who cared for me, and I had, you know, money, and I had clothes, and I didn't have to suffer through all the rest of that other stuff, I would have never been as strong as I am in order to be able to handle the stuff that I handle now. When I got the fibromyalgia, when I got the trigeminal, when I got tennis elbow added to it, you know, which is a new thing. Probably like, 3 months now. I've been doing physical therapy for that, and I've been, you know, yeah. Anytime I get a new thing going on, my boyfriend Dennis goes, and boyfriend, husband, whatever you want to call him, we've been together 15 years. He goes, well, he says, the problem comes up. He says, I don't understand it. He says, you got a problem, and then all of a sudden you don't think anything of it. You just sit there and go, okay. You know, and it's like, and then you try to deal with it. And he goes, I just don't understand it. He says, you don't get mad, you don't get upset. He says, you don't cry, you don't. And to me, crying about this shit ain't gonna freaking help me. You know what I mean? Like, I can cry about it. Okay, I can cry about it. I'll lay on the damn lawn, you know, and I'll cry, and I'll cry, and I'll go, oh, poor me. What's that helping? You know what I mean? That's not gonna get my tire fixed. That's not gonna get my health back. That's not gonna get, it's not gonna do anything. Maybe it makes some people feel better, but it doesn't make me feel better, because I've always been in the fight or flight thing. Fight is you freaking fight to help yourself and get out of whatever the hell's happening. Or flight, where you end up running away from your damn problems. I don't want to run away from my problems. I want to fix them. I want to get rid of them. I want them out of my life. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. I'm that fighter. I gotta fight for everything. So I fight for everything. I do what I gotta do in order to take care of the problem. That way it's gone, and that way I don't have to deal with it anymore. When I come to my childhood traumas, and when I come to my life-hold traumas, though, I did put them on the back burner, and I set them aside, and I just never dealt with them. You know what I mean? I may believe they weren't there, I guess. And it caused a lot of problems, and I think that's what I needed to be able to do. And now that I am doing it, and I have done it, or I am dealing with it presently because of this psilocybin trip, for sure, it's helped me through a lot of it. So I am so sorry that this video is so long, but I really did have a lot to say. And I will be posting this on Facebook, and I will also be posting it on my YouTube channel. So there will be another one, though, that will describe the trip, and it'll probably be just as long as this one. I hate to say it, but it'll be just as long as this one, probably, because it'll be describing what I went through and the timestamps, as far as I remember. I had a notebook, and that's another thing I want you guys to do when you go on this trip, is to have a notebook. And you're gonna have a notebook, and it's gonna tell you, you're gonna be able to talk about things that you're experiencing. When you experience something and you want to jot it down because you don't want to forget about it, you can write it down. And then also, I will maybe even possibly be writing stuff in a notebook for you of what you're experiencing at certain times. So what you say to me about something, I'll write down. Mainly because I want to remember it in order to be able to tell you. So I might even I'll be writing in my own page, so I can tell you later about it. Because like I said, I don't want to try to interfere into the trip itself unless you want me to or need me to. If you're having something bad experience happen, and I'll hold your hand, and that'll be the end of that, you know what I mean? Or I'll give you a hug if you need it. And then hopefully that'll get you through that little spot, because it is sort of like ADHD. So you're going to have that feeling, and next thing you know, you're not going to have that feeling anymore. You're going to have another feeling, and you're going to have another feeling. So you're going to be flashing in and out. It's sort of like when somebody explains how when you die, you end up having your life flash in front of you. That is what it's like, kind of deal, sort of. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah. And it's funny because one of the sites said that you see sounds and you hear colors. And I was like, what the hell are they talking about? Well, I get it now, but I don't think you can get that unless you're there, you know. And then also ego disillusion, they call it. So ego disillusion is when you don't feel the things you normally feel. Like, you don't have to be pretty. You don't have to be, you don't have any kind of ego at all. You're not present at the time. It doesn't seem to be all about you. It seems to be about your life. Kind of hard to explain. And then also, you are definitely going to have a bigger connection to whoever your god or goddesses are. That is just craziness, but I don't feel like I've ever been close to any god or goddesses at all. I was raised Catholic, strict Catholic actually. When I was with my Pepe, we went to church every Sunday, we went to catechism. Of course, the times when my mother had me and I was not at my Pepe's house, well, that was different, but I learned those strict ethics, and I just didn't believe in them. I sat in church and listened to the priest, and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? You know, and I listened to the words, and I know my Pepe didn't believe that I was listening, you know, pay attention. Well, I got bored because I didn't believe the crap that he was saying, you know. Do I believe that stuff now? Most of it I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. But I do feel connected to a god or goddess. I'm not sure which one. It's a spiritual being. But I've never been one to say that God, the Catholic God, I should say, is it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one to say that a god or goddess of the Greek mythology is my god or god. I don't know. I just don't know who is the god or goddess, and if there is a god or goddess. You know what I mean? Like, but I want to believe in a higher power. I want to believe there's a purpose here. There is and I kind of do. I do now, you know, after this trip. All right, look, I'm going to get this done and closed because I got to go do stuff now, but I really do hope you enjoy this video. Please like, please subscribe, please go to my YouTube channel if you're on the Facebook channel, and then share this video with anybody who is interested with going on this experience, and then I will talk to them and see if we can make this happen. And like I said, I'm not sure about the cost yet. I have to figure that out because I don't want it to be too much where anybody can't afford it. Some of the seminars that I've seen on some of the places and then you got to pay for the trip to go there because it's not legal in the United States. You got to go there. You got to, so anywhere between 1,000 and like 3,000-4,000. Plus, if you go to Jamaica, you got to pay to go to Jamaica. You know what I mean? And it's a 3-4 day thing sometimes too. Which 3-4 day thing I can understand $1,000 or $3,000 because you're there for 3 days, so they gotta pay all them people to be there. They gotta have a cook, somebody to cook for you for the places, and thing, and everything else. So yeah, I'm thinking somewhere between 200 and 300. Only because, and then if there's more than one person, and I can only do 2 people at a time for now, maybe 3 at the most, but I want to kind of keep it small so I get the experience of being able to not control, but being able to take care of everybody and not have it so that one person is getting ignored because another person needs my attention. I want to be able to be available to everybody, and I can't spread myself too thin. So, like my page, share, subscribe, and then when and if I get Patreon going, maybe buy me a coffee, a tank of gas or something. I don't know. Yeah. And then I might even get t-shirts made up or something and do something like that because, yeah, I want the word out. I want people to know the experience and be able to get help. So, have a great day. It's an hour now, so I'm definitely closing this out. Time to go, time limit, and my phone's gonna die anyways. So, peace, love, happiness, and if you're gonna do a trip, just do it safely. Bye-bye now.